Hello everyone. So in this sessions we are going to implement dependency injections using Google Juice. Okay, so the same thing, same applications, just only thing is that instead of creating instances in a very normal way, okay, we are going to use a dependency injection. So I think most of you may be aware about what is a dependency injections. This is a kind of design pattern, you can say, and this will ensures that all our component is loosely coupled. So whenever we want, without changing at a code level, we can remove the components, okay, and we can plug the another components, okay, and all the object creation will be taken care by the this Juice framework only. Okay, so we no need to bother about the creating any object. Okay, so generally how do we create object? We instantiate the object using new operator, right? So that thing, no need to write a such type of codes. Wherever the object is got, we just we need to inject those object, and it's kind of lazy initialization. So okay, whenever it is required, that time only Google Juice framework will create an object. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so here what we need to do, we are using a provider. So if we can recall, right, in the last session, so the first object we have created for the Playwright, right, and further that we have created object for the browser, then browser context, then page, right, and so the same here what we are going to do, we are going to create one class of Playwright Provider. Okay, before moving on to this, I will show you what at all dependency do we need to add. So in the build.gradle, we need to only add this Google inject, and this is a kind of a dependency which we need to add into our build.gradle file. Okay, so this is only. Now just move to the Playwright Provider. So we need to create a Playwright Provider class which will implement a provider interface. Okay, and here we need to pass what type of object we want to create. Okay, and this have a one get methods, okay, which will return the instances. Okay, what type of instances we are creating? So we are creating instance of Playwright. Okay, cool. So same thing. Okay, Playwright dot create is going. Okay, so whenever this we need a Playwright object, Google Juice will call this, okay, and it will inject, okay, from here. Okay, now the next type of object, we need a what type of browser do we want to use. Okay, so if you wants to create a browser instance, okay, whether you want to Chrome browser or you wants to Firefox or Safari, whatever. Okay, what do we need to do? We need to first Playwright. Okay, so what we are doing, so again you can see here, okay, we are not going to create any object, we are not doing the Playwright dot create all those things, just we are injecting. Okay, so whenever this we are calling this browser instance, whenever you are creating, automatically it will get injected by the Google Juice. Okay, so I think this will be clear. In this browser provider, same thing. In the browser provider, do we want to create instances of browser? Cool. And same get method we are implementing here. And here what we are doing, as at build.gradle file, right, we have already created some system variable browser. So which type of browser do we want to instance in, whether it's a Chrome or, okay, so that also we can here already have taken. You can instead of here I've done the hard coded. Okay, but this value you can take from the build.gradle file, or maybe from the terminal also when you're passing the command, right, the build.gradle command. Okay, then that time also we can pass, so it will override this one. Okay, so not an issue. Now we got which type of browser instance do we want to create. Same very simple logic, we have used a switch case. Okay, so if he wants to create a Firefox, okay, Playwright.Firefox, this Firefox instance will be created, and very simple code. Okay, so now we'll come to know, okay, this browser. Okay, so each and everything how instance will be created, we have kept in a separate classes, and wherever it is required across the application, we have to just call it. Okay, and the instance will be created. So everywhere we have to not write the new operator things. Okay, now even you can do the plug and play also. So okay, that I will show you later how in module we have to configure it. Okay, so this is fine, the browser is clear. Okay, now come to the browser context provider. Okay, so what to do, the browser context provider. Okay, so that if you wants to run into the cognitive window, right, those things if you want, okay, then we need to use this code. Okay, so okay, so that code we have written here. Okay, so nothing is new. Okay, in the browser context. Now after browser context, what you are calling a pages, right? So once your browser will be open, okay, and okay, then and once you have called the navigate, okay, then your page will be open. Now you need to access the pages, right? So for that we have a pages. So for that what we need to do, we need to call the browser context. We are injecting the browser context, and then through browser context we are creating the new page. Okay, so I think this much is clear. Okay, now we are going to configure each and everything into the module. So we have created a Playwright module, we are going to configure. Okay, so what we are binding, wherever Playwright dot class is there, okay, we are binding this class here. Okay, and we have created as a singleton. So at least for each RMD user only single object will be created. Okay, or each and every thread you can say the single object will be created. That's why we are calling as a singleton method. Okay, so here you can do the plug and play. Okay, I can create some multiple classes, and if I plug suppose that if I'm plugging Playwright Provider.1, okay, so the whenever this Playwright class will be get called, if you want to create an object of Playwright, whatever we have done the binding, okay, that class object will be called. So that's why I said this is called a loosely coupling. Okay, we can change. Okay, we can change here some of the today bounded the browser provider, we can write down the Firefox provider, something like that. Okay, so that's why it is called a loosely coupled. Okay, cool. So we are each and every the main class is suppose that here it is a vehicle class, and I can bound to the four-wheeler, okay, two-wheeler, like that way we can bind it. Okay, hope you have understood. Okay, so this is called a module where we do the binding of the classes object. Okay, now we'll go to the test bases. Test bases are same here, little bit different it is I've done here. So same web page, normal everywhere, as I told you, right? In case of Selenium WebDriver, we are calling up pages here, and here we know that, right? We need to create an instance of each and every web page. So here we are using a kind of one concept of reflection. Okay, so at runtime we are creating the object of the class. Okay, so create web page instance, and here we have to pass the which class object, which page object we need to create. Okay, and we are using a reflections. Okay, we'll create an object of that class and just returning it. Okay, so if you are not very much clear, just go to the reflection and you can see that how we can create an object at runtime. Okay, using reflection. Okay, this is a web test. So very simple. Okay, because this Playwright is not a thread safe. Okay, that's why we are using a thread local with the Java actually. Okay, and before method what we are launching the application, and what we need to do, first we need to create a Playwright module. So this thing, same thing, right? So we need to call each whatever the object we need to create, the configuration, whatever the binding we are doing now, right? Everything we need to call here, and we need to create an object of that. Okay, so once it is created, then whenever the object is required, Google Guice will inject the object into our application. Okay. Now the object has created. Okay, now you can say the get instance page class. Okay, and navigate to the this is application which I wants to test it. Okay, and after method, okay, just we are closing this Playwright instances browser context, and this web page instance already we have discussed, right? Now the same, nothing is different, there is no difference. So this is all about the dependency. Now we'll see the pages, how we have designed the login pages. Okay, this is a login page. Again same thing, just we need to identify all the locators. Okay, and see, this is a way to create a methods. Okay, and produce page, the same thing, same manner we need to create the same thing, and each and every pages is going to inherit their web page. Okay, and now we'll go to the test sections. Okay, first we'll go to the login section, how the login will be. Okay, so in web test, if I'll go to the web test, okay, the same, it will first call the playwright module, means juice, all the juice module it will call, it will create all. Okay, so once it will be set whenever, so the instances will be created whenever it is required. Okay, so this is a web page instance, and web page instance I am creating an instance of the login page. Okay, and then this login page we have called the one login method is there. This is a fluent interface, fluent flow. Okay, and see the login, the same thing we are calling this one, and this user ID, password. Okay, and what is the return I want, so it should return to the product page. Okay, and again this method is in the product page. Okay, so this is called a fluent API. Okay, API flow. Okay, so this is in the product web page. Okay, so this is this is how we write a test cases for in the case of so here we implemented a page object, here we implemented a juice dependency, we have implemented a page object pattern. So this test case is for the valid credential, this test cases are created for invalid credentials. Okay, so in the link I will give you, I will provide this project details as well, and I will provide my one of my lecture was related to dependency injection, so I'll provide the that DI link as well, so at least you can go through and you have some high level idea that what is a DI. Okay, and then you can come and see that's how we can implement the DI into this our automation framework. Okay, so so this is all about the implementing the DI into our automation framework, that is a Playwright with the Java. The next sessions will talk we'll start a Playwright with the JavaScript. So starting I will give you some idea about the JavaScripts and what at all knowledge do we require if we wants to go ahead with the JavaScript. Okay, and then we'll go into then we'll dive into the Playwright using the JavaScripts. Okay, and yeah, so till then just go through this, and yeah, and have any doubts just ping me. Okay, thank you.